Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to check your brake lines in your vehicle. This video should pretty much work for any vehicle that you're driving. The newer ones are just going to be pretty much made more out of steel and metal like that. Older ones will have some rubber parts like that, so that'll be pretty much the only difference between my Ford F-150 here and the vehicle that you're driving. So first things first, brake lines should pretty much last the lifetime of your vehicle, so they should never really have an issue. Reasons you would want to check your brake lines are pretty much if you're having braking issues, if you have fluid underneath your vehicle, especially by the wheels, by the cylinders and stuff like that, and also if your brake fluid is low. Brake fluid is pretty much recycled, so it never gets burned off. So if your brake fluid is low, there's definitely something wrong with your vehicle. Or the only other way that your brake fluid could be low is if your brake pads are worn out. So when your brake pads wear down, the caliper and the piston have to push out farther in order to make the brake pad actually hit with the rotor. So therefore, it needs extra brake fluid to get that piston out there farther. So first things first, if your brake fluid is low, make sure to check your brake pads. You might need to change your brake pads. Therefore, then you don't have to go through all this work and checking the brake lines. But definitely check for leaks first. That's going to be your easiest thing. Just look underneath your vehicle, see if there's any wet spots, especially by the wheels. That's usually where they probably leak the most. And then also check your brake pads. If your brake pads are low, replace those first, and then see if your brake fluid, that should go back up when you push those pistons back in, so they make room for the new brake pads. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's open up the hood and I'll show you exactly how to follow your brake lines down to your wheels. The first thing you want to do if you have this is jack up your vehicle and put it on jack stands or ramps or anything, so getting under your vehicle is going to be a little easier. I don't have those, so I'll be just crawling underneath my vehicle. I have a truck, so it's got a little more space underneath there. So let's get going and pop up on the hood. All right, now that we're under the hood, we're gonna have to locate the brake lines. So the brake lines are gonna always be directly in front of the driver's side seat, right in front of the brake pedal. So the brake pedal is pretty much gonna come through the firewall back here. It's gonna go through the brake booster here, and it's always going to be connected to the brake fluid reservoir tank. So this is where your brake fluid starts at, and this is where you can tell if it's low or not. So this is where you would look to see if your brake fluid is low. There's probably a leak somewhere in your hose, or your brake pads are low, like I said earlier. So that's always going to be connected to your brake master cylinder. That's this part right here. So now out of your brake master cylinder, there's always going to be two metal pipes that come off of it. Those are your brake lines. That's the beginning of the brake lines. So they're going to start here from the brake master cylinder, and there's going to be two. They're going to come down, they're going to go down, and let's get a different angle here. They're going to curve around. So this is where I was saying in the older models, this would be rubber. So if usually that's the part where it would start leaking at, is around these curves. So you'd have to feel this rubber and see if it's like sticky at all, or if you can squeeze it, and if it's got any moisture on it at all. That probably means it's about ready to need to be replaced. But these newer models here, they have steel ones, so you don't have to worry about that. So not gonna leak at all. And then that's steel as well. So these things, that's why I said they last a lifetime. So you're gonna want to follow these down, make sure there's no fluid dripping anywhere, and then it's gonna go down into this thing right here. And this thing is called a modulator valve, and this is pretty much just going to be for your anti-lock brake system. But so your two brake lines are going to come in here, and it's actually going to split into four. So there you go, there's 4 spots there. These are your 4 brake lines that go to each of your tires here. So you're pretty much going to follow each one of these down, and it's going to go to a specific wheel. So let me crawl underneath and show you where it goes to. So now we're just under the wheel well here on the driver's side, and you can see there's that modulator. And there's some stickers that they have on each one, so each different color is for a different brake line. But you can see the 4 lines coming down here, and they're actually going to go behind this part here, and they're going to come out down here. So there's 2 that are going to the rear, and this one is coming down here, and it's going to be going into the wheel. So now you're just going to want to follow it down here, and as you can see, it goes from steel from up here to this is more of a kind of a rubbery substance. I don't know exactly what the properties are of it, but it's definitely, it can move a lot. So this is probably going to be where your leak is going to be coming from. So just follow it down. Make sure you don't get confused by some of these other wires. This one will come down and it should connect right there. This is going to be your calipers and your pistons and your brake pads. So this is where you're going to check for leaks. And since you're under the vehicle, you just follow these lines back, and they should be attached to the frame here. Those are your 2 brake lines for the rear. These 2 right there. So you're going to follow those all the way back, making sure there's no liquid coming out of those, and just follow that all the way to the back tire. Okay, so now here in the back, this is kind of what the brake lines look like. So they're going to be coming up from around the frame here, and they're actually going to turn into these ones here. So again, I got a little bit of rubber to go around the corners here, and come back and kind of go into these holders. So these are your 2 rear brake lines. This one's going to the right side, this one's going to the left side, and it's going to come in. Again, more connectors here. Check there for leaks, and then again, it's going to connect to your caliper right there. That's going to be your back rear brake. This actually has a rear disc brake, so it'll look like this. Most vehicles will actually have a rear drum brake, so you'll have a caliper there that you'll have to keep an eye out, and that's usually where the leak would form again. So again, look right here for brake fluid or anything like that. So there you have it, guys. Just a quick and easy way on how to check your brake lines. If you guys are having issues with your brakes, just make sure to check your fluid first, and then make sure if your fluid's low, make sure you check your brake pads. It's going to save you a lot of time to just check those things. And if you need to replace the pads first. Make sure the brake fluid goes back up, and then go from there. But first, always just look underneath, make sure there's no fluids sitting around, because if there's fluid underneath your vehicle, that's probably not a good sign. So just make sure to kind of follow it, find where the leak is, and then if it's one of those lines, that's a brake fluid line, so then yeah, definitely get that fixed right away. Hope you guys found this handy. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.